Hi, welcome back to the God of Onions podcast, Layer 12. I am Hiral Mehta, your host, as well as the founder of House of Hiral, where I design and sell lifestyle products, and also the founder of this podcast, God of Onions. Today, we have Nishant Joshi, who is a businessman by profession. He is the owner of the fashion school Mod Art Mumbai and also the owner of various bars and restaurants and the founder of Maison Du Yoga. Let me invite him to this live. Hi
Hi.
Nishant.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for being a part of my platform, God of Onions. It's an honor having you on my platform. So
Uh,
thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. And thank you for all the lovely paintings that you've made for La Maison Du Yoga.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Everybody's been raving about it. A lot of people have been asking me where these paintings are from and, how you conceptualized it and everything. So I was just telling everyone that, Hiral was very patient with me. Of course, it's taken a lot of time. She was very patient and she was there to help in whatever way I needed it. And I had this whole concept in my head. She's beautifully put on the canvas, and that's what shows right at the end of the day. And I love it when I'm explaining the 11-foot painting to everybody, how the transformation from the world happens to the. So yeah,
Wow.
it's built a story for me also. So thank you so much again.
No, I am so glad that I could turn your imagination into reality. So, yeah.
So tell me, what are we talking about today?
Yes. So basically, as you know about God Finance, our philosophy is more of interviewing artists and people who are in the art platforms. So this is yes. So this is basically supporting the artists and people who are in the art platforms while you're the owner of Mod Art India.
Yes.
So yes. So I think I can start with my questions.
Oh, please do.
Yeah,
Gonna- Sorry, the fan was right on my. Yeah,
no
tell me.
worries. Yes. So, my first question to you, Nishant, is that
Yeah.
what inspired you to start with Mod Art India?
So I was we have a land in the educational sector in Pune, and we wanted to start a engineering college there. And a lot of friends of ours were telling us that it's going to be hard, so you start something smaller in Mumbai, something that you relate to more. I did relate to fashion in a way, and growing up, it was more towards buying mostly. But what happened is I living in London for a while, and then I was living in Paris for a while. So I just stumbled upon a Parisian group that was out of LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy,
Oh,
and they had
wow.
formed a group. They formed a group 20, now 37 years back, and that's how Modart was born. So I love the story. I love how they were going about it, and it was very inspirational in a way. Like I was getting mentored by the ex VP of Christian Dior. I was being mentored
Wow.
by uh, the world president of Sicilian. I was being mentored by a guy who opened every Dior store in Japan. And when I brought it down here to India, I was I was thinking how I could change the way people think. Like I know, in 2007 when I got it down, um, kurtis were in, salwar kameez, kurtis, all of that was
Yes.
going, but nobody really looked at Western wear as an everyday wear in 2007 also,
Yes.
and I wanted to change their mindset. I wanted to connect. I wanted to build a bridge between Paris and India and Mumbai for that matter, because the first one that we opened in Mumbai. And my Parisian partners were very instrumental. And because I don't come from an educational background and I'm a businessman, and the only mantra I have is work towards excellence anyway. I'm sure you must have seen it through La Maison du Yoga, working with me, how I
I
work.
have. I have.
Yeah, so this is what I try to do. I try to change the whole curriculum of what they teach in the Indian educational system, and it's not been upgraded for the last 20 years. And what I got from Paris is the most upgraded version. So we basically upgrade every 4 5 months for people to understand, like, fashion is, you can't stop in fashion.
True.
You can't stop somewhere and say, okay, this is what I'm going to teach for the next 5 years. It doesn't happen. So it's every 3 months we change, we do things with people, we kind of conceptualize, build, and then execute it between our students, so they know that they have to work with things. Obviously, WGSN was a great help, uh, because our partners in Paris. So our partners in Paris were very, very connected. They had a collaboration with WGSN. Because of that, all the students across the globe, we have 15 different colleges around the world, and all the students across the globe had access to WGSN. So we used to get most of our knowledge from there and then executing it over here. So, and the free hand that I gave my teachers, I think every educational institute should give that to the teacher. If she's really interested in teaching, why should I stop a teacher at saying, okay, you know what, you can teach jeans today, and this year it's going to be, this year it's only going to be a shirt, or this year it's only going to be lingerie. If she wants to teach a jacket, if she has learned something somewhere, she would want to talk about it. She would want to connect it to whoever she's teaching. And that's the free hand we give to all the teachers over here. I said, don't interfere in my work. I won't interfere in yours. But I need to make sure that every student that walks out of here thinks, um, prepares things, executes. And that's what we worked on. It was just one word: excellence. That's it. And that's what we worked on all these years. And yeah, we've been very successful in a way.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. That's wow. Like 15 around the globe. I think that's amazing. And having the free flow for the teachers and everything. I think the culture at Mod Art is amazing itself.
Yes, it is actually. In Paris, when I was learning to sell the course, uh, they actually told me that we undersell. That's one institute in the world that undersells itself, because it's anyways giving more than any other school in the world. So when they undersell, they give more. The student also feels good. So when we work towards, it's a constant work towards how things are going to go now, and how we plan out a year, and in the middle suddenly there'll be a change, because this year this color is not that color is, and the conceptualization,
Trends keep changing.
like you working with colors, right? You
Yes.
keep sending me options. Okay, Nishant, is this okay, is that okay? And I used to keep saying that, okay, you know what, this maybe makes more sense, and this maybe makes more sense. Like even the 11-foot painting, how we converted every
Yes.
color into every elephant. And yeah, so that's what you
No,
conceptualize.
but I really loved working with that. I really loved it. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
yes. So I think we'll go to our next question. Um, what core beliefs or value would you like to inculcate on your students? Like apart from the teachers which you have said.
I believe every student of mine will second me on this. The freedom of thought.
Lovely, lovely.
Of thought, and again, excellence is what I would say, because you need to think in a certain way when you're in a artistic environment. It's not only with fashion. It's with anything artistic that you want to make. You need to have the purpose, or you need to find the purpose, or you need to push yourself out there to think. You know, the
Lovely.
sky's the limit. I don't think sky's the limit in this. You go beyond, because we had two really good artists who were teaching from Kerala to my
Okay.
students. They just came by, and how beautifully they put. They said, okay, if I put a bottle of water in front, and I would want you to take inspiration from that, what would you do? So to a untrained eye, the bottle of water looks round, maybe some lines on it, maybe the water inside, with the flow and everything. But to a trained eye, the way we were training, they would convert that water into H2O. So again, H2 and O becomes three different parts to play with. Now that's drinking water, right? From drinking water, you go back to
Wow.
doing dirty water. So the process of dirty water to drinking water even the factory or the instruments that are used to make the drinking the dirty water to drinking water, even those things have been used in um, to take up an inspiration. So your filtration plant could be an inspiration. Your the
Wow.
H2O is an inspiration. So there are so many things to play with. And then, the person who cannot conceptualize will see the bottle as the bottle being round with the lines, with the cap and the water inside. But nobody will break it down. So we taught our students to break it down. We taught our students to think bigger, think more. And one thing we don't, I always get very irritated when my students are looking into Pinterest or going on to googling a picture that, because what happens on Pinterest is you end up thinking that this is the benchmark. If you like something, that becomes the benchmark in your, you're not never going to think more than that. So to think more than that, Pinterest is the worst thing that you can research on. These are few things that every day I keep drilling into my students. But yeah,
Agreed, agreed. So I think Uno One in a Million says creativity has no limitation. That's true. That's true.
I
And
would, or her, whoever that is.
true. And as you said that, while you allow your teachers having the freedom of thought, so it comes from the top and then to the students. I think
Yes.
that's an amazing culture which you have inculcated at Modart. It's amazing. And as you also said that, with the example of the bottle, where, that's actually developing analytical skills through creativity. I think that's really amazing. That's an amazing way to actually train the mind for the students as well. So
Yes.
yes, that's amazing. So I think I'll go to my next question. Um, how are you dealing with COVID, and how has Modart adapted to COVID and e-learning?
So COVID did make us go a few steps back, because there's some technical education you cannot teach online,
True,
like pattern making. You cannot do online.
true.
Other things that we used to do is we used to take groups of children for trips. Now this trip used to happen with collaborations with somebody in Kutch, like Ajrak. They used to
Oh
work,
wow,
people who do Ajrak with hand. There is for weaving they used to go all the way to Maheshwar. So we have a tie up with this organization where the royal family of Madhya Pradesh has taken the Sally, who owns the organization. She's taken this place over, and we had a direct contact with her. Really,
wow,
so my students would go there, teach them fashion, and they would teach them how to weave. So it was such a great collaboration between two people, two organizations to meet and learn from each other at the same time, and that gave them a hands-on experience of how they are supposed to behave with karigars also,
wow.
because karigars do have their own mindset, right?
Yes,
Like making,
yes, yes,
like if I am an annoying client, and I keep telling you, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this.
yes.
Whenever we were talking, because of those experiences that I have had between them, I used to tell you, take your time. It's okay, Hiral, take your time. So it comes with a lot of experience of how I've seen my kids also learn and mix around with karigars, for that matter. And art is something that you cannot push the other person to do. Art does not come with a deadline. Is what I definitely feel, because that freedom of thought will not be there,
True,
and then
true,
it turns
true.
into that I have to just do and just give. So I would maybe tell people not to do it, at least to artists and designers.
Wow, that's amazing. I think that's interesting. That's something which is a very interesting concept where, the collaboration with the weavers and the students. And I think that's amazing. It's really lovely. I think a lot of colleges, I'm sure they are doing that, but this is completely different. So,
Yeah, as per experience, it's very, very different. Our HOD is one of the most brilliant teachers I've worked with.
oh, wow.
She was she makes them go beyond a thought, and she really works hard with my students and everybody. There's no student till today who has been under this head of department of mine. Her name is Sangeet, and Mrs. Sangeet, and they love her. They love her. So this environment also creates a family kind of a thing where
True.
it's not like college where you're a roll number. You're known by name. We know what your issues are. If there are issues at home, there are students who never wanted to leave. Like in third year, they keep telling me, "Why don't you have a fourth year for us?" And I couldn't because that's how much I can teach, right? And another concept that we built within is because I used to travel a lot to London, and my friends were in London College of Fashion, and
Oh wow.
not and all these other schools in London, right? So what I used to do is I used to live with them, and they always used to cry about how quick the curriculum is going. They run on the speed in any international college would be very very quick because they want to move you up to a speed. Also. You can't be laid back and say, okay, this is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be. So what we did is we turned the basics from 1 year to quickly teach them in 3 months. So that got them the speed that we wanted them.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, so any student mine now goes out, they look forward to working with them. I've had experiences where my students have gone to get visa, and their work has gone to the head of the visa department or anything of that sort. And there are Britishers who have come out and said, we have not work anywhere. Where, like, what school are you from? I have seen so many students applying for international colleges, and we've not seen this kind of work. Tell me. So I've been approached by the Allianz or the British UK department, as in the visa department and stuff, that why can't we have a tie up your students more outside? And I was more than happy to work with them.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. God, I could go on. It's my favorite
No,
subject,
but
modern.
that's okay. Yeah. Wow, that's completely amazing. I think understanding from what you're saying that the students basically enjoy working at, I mean, not working, like learning from mod art. And the way the teaching goes at mod art, it all becomes subconscious as well, with
Yes,
how you all make the processes and the planning for learning for this.
yes, yeah, true.
Yes.
They're living it. What happens in India is we don't have museums. We don't have like,
True.
if you're in Paris, you have museums. You have fashion museums. You have a
Yes.
Pierre Cardin museum in the north of France, in the north of Paris. But here you don't have those things. You're not living the culture. We only live the culture of Bollywood and cricket. Very sad actually for this country.
Yes.
But
Yes.
for me, in a way, if I have to say, you have to live the culture. So you have to go out. If you're
True.
looking, if your students are listening to me, then one thing you have to do is you have to go live it in Paris if you want to be you have to live it in London or any of these different places where you need to learn high street fashion. So you have to, because we don't have the infrastructure to teach fashion. I wish I could come up with a with a fashion museum for the students of
I
India.
was about to ask that. Yeah.
No, but you can't, it's very hard to do it in this country. It will be very hard because the thought process behind the education system that is there is far, like, it's backward. Nobody's looking
Okay.
at it the way we're supposed to, and just by changing the way you educate somebody in a country, it can bring in so many more opportunities for your own country. I mean, I know for a fact that there are the weavers that we have a connection in Maheshwar.
Yes. Yes.
There are designers all over the world that come there to buy. So you
Wow.
need it. There are designers all over the world who are coming here to buy, even Ajrak for that matter, in Kutch.
Mhm.
They're coming here to buy, different things, and we are very we are ahead in the kind of art that we have. So you won't get that art anywhere. Like, if I have to
True.
buy furniture that I wouldn't get anywhere else, I would go to Indonesia or a Bali or in Italy,
Yes.
for that matter. But as per fashion and how we have been, grown into the art of what India teaches. They don't teach that outside. They don't teach embroidery outside. Like they do teach, but it's not at the level of what we learn.
Yes, true.
So imagine the amount of states that we have in India and multiply it into 100 variants, and that's how many embroideries you can actually convert that. So yeah, I mean, I was even planning before COVID. I was planning a an Indianized fashion course for people all across the world. So
Oh,
getting
lovely.
here and 6 months in class, 6 months you're only traveling. You're traveling to Maheshwar, you're traveling to
Wow.
Rajasthan, you're traveling to Agra, you're traveling to Gujarat, you're traveling to south of India, you're traveling to Chennai, to learn studies and stuff like that. So just exposing people to the kind of art that we follow in different states. But it's time consuming. So and plus COVID came, so we dropped.
Yes.
But yeah,
So
it would have been really good.
that's quite interesting. I think hoping once things get safer, I think this is an amazing idea of having people travel around India,
Definitely.
understand the different cultures in different cities and the different artworks which are there. I think that's going to be very beautiful. Um, I'm really looking forward. Maybe once this happens, it's going to be very interesting. So yeah, I think I'll ask my next question now. Uh, yeah. Um, what do you think can be the biggest disruptors or change in the market
Yeah.
in the fashion or design industry in the next 5 years?
Logistics.
Okay.
Going to be a massive change in logistics, and that will depend on how the buying or the purchasing becomes lesser or more, because what's happening is diesel prices have increased, petrol prices have increased, and logistics, these things are a huge issue with. So we as, before Modart, I'm a distributor for Pepsi for Mumbai,
PepsiCo. Yes.
Navi Mumbai, Thane, and I know how the prices of petrol and diesel my my work at the end of the day. So every time there was an increase, I had to sit with the company and say, you need to increase my company because the petrol prices are increasing. So even that 1 rupee is a big deal when you're organizing Pepsi for all of Mumbai,
True.
and Pepsi products. But in logistics is going to be a big issue, because to get something now most of the countries we are like people are banned to come in and then go out, so not a lot of buying
Yes.
is happening with even local artists for that matter. uh,
Yes.
there's Pufyanji from who does Ajrak work. I was talking to him the other day and he said that, sir, last 2 saal mein we've not had the sales that the way we used to have, and they used to survive. So it's a whole village surviving on that art, which is so important, and to keep that art in place we need to. But what we do is we go out and buy luxury products. You want to buy Zara, you want to buy, but nobody's really doing what needs to be done for our artists at the end of the day. Another issue I feel in fashion that will happen is with tailors. So a tailor does not want to be a tailor. He wants to be either a
Okay.
doctor or a engineer. The mindset, yeah.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
realizing when they're telling their kids that आपको थोड़ी टेलर का काम करना है, आपको इंजीनियर बनना है, आपको ये बनना है. मतलब it's looked down upon. But I'm
True.
really, I said even doctors, engineers need clothes, and to stitch those
True.
clothes, tailors. So tailors is going to be a big issue for the future, because tailor's son does not want to be a tailor, and the issue that will happen is the production, like on hand, will get lesser. But the good part is whoever becomes a tailor, yeah, will be
Yes.
making a lot of money.
True.
So in
True.
2009, I was talking to one of the member of parliaments of UK, and he was telling me that we have this thing for tailors. There's we're going to pay them £30,000 a year. We're going to give them a house. We're going to give them work visa. And I said, that's so amazing. I said, why don't you float that idea out? And I'm sure a lot of people from India would want to come. But he
Yes.
there's such scarcity. I'm talking about 2019 now. So by 2020, we've gone down in numbers anyways. You know? 21, sorry,
Okay.
gone down in numbers. But you see, today it's not easy to get a tailor. Like one tailor is making for 3 or 4 people minimum. That's why the
True.
order want your XYZ, all of that. Unless you have your own setup today, it's not going to be like that. So it's very
True.
important that tailoring to be seen as a proper subject, you know,
True. True.
and giving that education out that it's not just important to be a doctor and I'm sure they're very important things,
Yes.
but at the
Yes.
same time you need tailors to do what you need to do.
Yes. Yes. True. True. I never thought about this. But I think it's so true. I think then the requirement for tailors is going to increase in the coming future.
Not
While
cutters, pattern cutters, pattern makers, all the tech
yes,
guys at the low end, they're going to start making a lot of money because that's a talent. You can
true.
I can buy your art. I can't
Yes.
buy the way you make art.
Yes. True.
So
True. True.
artists are the next big thing. I can
Yes.
I
True.
can buy a night from a singer. I can't buy his voice.
True.
So
True.
I
True.
have, because of mod art, maybe I have this next level of I look up to artists in a very different way now. I mean, I see them as maybe closer to God, and that's what the comparison I can make, because God's creating. You know,
True.
who else is creating? Artists are creating. Nobody else
True.
is creating. We are
Yes.
watching. We are having great time. Yes, we are wearing great clothes. We are doing a lot of stuff with it. But we are creating. I can buy a shirt off you, but I can't buy your thought process of how you made that shirt. So
True.
that is the importance that every student of mine should know, and everybody should think like that. Every artist should think like that.
True.
Don't
True.
settle, don't all of that for that matter.
True.
And yeah, it's changing. I think it's changing, and with time, people will
True.
appreciate.
And I think I already, being an artist myself, I'm already seeing the market changing and the requirements, and I already see a shift, or I already feel a little bit of shift in the market for artists
Yes.
already. So, very true that there is going to be a shift for sure. Yes. Someone says, placebo effect. I'm sorry if I must have pronounced your name wrong. Lots of hard work and time has gone into it. It reflects in our words. True.
Oh, that's placebo effect. A cousin of mine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you, Kuya. Thank you. I just read it.
And Uno, one in a million, says, wow, love your perspective. That's very true. I think me, including the rest who are listening to this live, I don't think we would have thought in this process or thought in this way. So I think
I,
that's
in a
it's
way,
quite insightful.
I'm conditioned to it now. I think about students, and I think about how their future will be, and that's how I've been building. But
Yes.
yeah, and thank you, Una. Thank you. It's Una, actually. It's a she.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
And BR Valia says, today there is so much competition for designers in the market. You see a designer in every nook and corner. How does a designer make a mark in so much competition?
So I differentiate designers now in my head, in a way. It's the people who have had education and people who have not had education. I'm not
Okay.
saying people who do not have education are not good. They are good. They can conceptualize and everything, but they will always end up cornering themselves somewhere. So people with education, they are more they're able to do more than people who have not been educated. Now, what happens with the education that they got at Mod Art was they got to learn about tailoring. We don't let any students tailor outside. We don't. We don't push anyone to do anything outside. Everything has to happen within school, and that's how we work. What happens is today, if I have a client and I've gone to the client and I'm showing her whatever, and something comes out, yeah, I should have the knowledge to tack it in right there. Then she will know that I'm a designer. But if I have to get back to every excuse by saying, "Arey, I will have to take it to the master," then how are you a designer? Like, like, it, like, okay, again, an example. You and me were at Maison Du Yoga. You told,
Yes.
"Chan, does this work?" We went in the light and we thought, okay, no, this color does not work. This works, and you made the changes. Now imagine asking you to make the change on the canvas, and you be like, "I think I'll have to go back to my master." Do you
Yes.
understand? It changes the perspective of how what you're doing also.
True.
With designers today, the one thing I said, BR Valia, right? So
Yes.
your question, for your question, it depends on how you are towards your customers. It's very important. It's very, very important. Like today, my students, they were fighting with us about how the lockdown is and how it's going to happen and everything. And in the midst of all of this, I just asked them one question. I said, did any one of y'all made masks and helped anybody in the building? You know, there's a selling point. If I was a
Yes.
designer living in a society, I would start making masks and giving it to people for free. It's such a amazing brand building opportunity that even
True.
Corona. So everybody sits there and gives excuses about क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. लेकिन every designer knows क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. अगर तुम नहीं सोचोगे, you're a designer. The point of you to be there is to think outside the box. If you're not going to think outside the box, how are you ever going to reach anything? फिर तो तुमको लगेगा कि हर एक competition है क्योंकि मुझसे नहीं हो रहा. It's not about anybody else. It's about you at the end of the day. अगर तुम mistake कर रहे हो, तो तुम्हारी गलती है.
True.
Because the client is always right.
True. True. Yes. As they say, the customer is the king.
Yeah.
True. True. So now I'll ask my last question, and then I will leave it out to the audience to ask questions.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans for the future of Mod Art India?
Future of Modern India looks a bit dim at the moment. We were planning on cutting it next year, actually.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm glad that all the 1,500, 1,600 students that have gone out of school in the last 14 years, I'm happy they will be, they would have mod art in them somewhere.
Wow,
And
lovely.
they
Okay.
would, I truly believe that all my mod art students out there, all my bachas out there, I know that they will be making a difference in everybody's life, whoever they work with. Even if there is a student from another college, they will tell them how to do it. They're the best. I know that. They all are the
Lovely.
best. Yeah,
Lovely.
all of them. All of
Lovely.
them who come out of the school, all of them. I know that they will work hard. They will get somewhere, and they will not think about competition. They will think about getting there and doing the work they have to. So we do have a lot of collaborations and stuff to help students get jobs, and we have an HR on board.
Okay. Wow, lovely.
So that before they go for their interviews and stuff like that, they have to talk about it and like behave how they're going to behave. So we have mock interviews, and most of them have got jobs. Most of them, the employers are very happy. Some of them come back saying that customers don't behave properly. I worked with a designer who has a very big name, and they don't behave properly. They use interns like they're using a garbage can. I've heard of. So everybody out there who would hire a designer, everybody out there who would hire an intern, every designer in India should really look upon like they're working for you. Yeah. So
True.
when you when you work in a certain way with them, if you're bad to them, you're influencing them in a way to be like that with the kids who are going to come tomorrow and work for them. And that's not what you want to go out there. So the bad experiences that my kids had, I would really request designers or even clients for that. little, um, easy, or at least speaking better,
True.
because they only create. Their creative mind cannot like
It
some.
does not open. Yes. True.
It's open, but it doesn't open towards bad behavior
Bad
because
behavior.
because of the way they've been treated in colleges also today. Like I understand, I'm not going to take names, but there are colleges who really don't treat kids properly.
The students right.
Yeah, and I've heard that, and I know because there are so many colleges that they leave and come to me. Like we have students from different colleges who came to us, and then we get them up to speed doing short-term courses and everything, so they could move into the year that they wanted after that. But when they got here, they were so happy when I experienced what they were going through. I sat down with my whole staff and I said, these students are very important to me. And even if I have to I'll put myself after them. So um, they need to get what they need to get, and we are going to handheld them there. But at the same time, you keep leaving your hand a little bit so they know how the world is. So when my
Yes.
students go out, they know how it is. But see, a bad experience is a bad experience. You can't really stop it. But yeah, people should behave a little nicely, is what I feel. And that's what they used to come and tell me that, she's such a big designer. He's such a big designer. And I looked up to him, and the way he behaved, I don't look up to him anymore. So that
True.
shouldn't happen, because if I am in my mind thinking that this is how to be, he suddenly becomes my mentor.
True.
And you
Yes. Yes.
mirroring him also, for that matter. So
True.
it's
True.
very, very important that we don't do that. I mean, even as an artist, I'm sure if you like your artist, if you follow one of the artists, you will have something in your art that shows a bit of his or her shadow. So
Yes.
it's very important to choose the right mentor. One thing.
True.
Um, and not to mirror him for everything. Maybe just the good things.
True.
You divide it in your head, saying this is good, this is bad. Okay, in the good also, this I can use, and in the bad maybe I don't want. So
Yes.
again, saying the future of Modern, these 1,600 students or 1,500 students, whoever, how many ever went out, are always going to have our support, are always going to have support towards their jobs and stuff like that. There are ex-students of 5 years back, 10 years back who come to us for some project work. I have a girl who came 3 years back to me, said that if I get this right, they will make me the CEO. And I said, okay, I'll help you. Let's do this. And we put our mind to it, and we got a project done and everything. Then she went and she became what she had to become. So
Wow.
backend is always there. We are always ready to help. I don't know how much I'll be able to help after it shuts down, because I won't have those teachers again. I won't have people again in place to really help. But whatever help I can do, I will definitely give to these students for sure. We actually have placed a lot of students from other colleges also, because we got
Oh, lovely.
we got done with ours. So, every student would have another friend who would be in a different college. So these students, when they came in, they said, "Sir, please help. She's really needs help, and can you do this for us?" And I said, "Okay, let me see how much is left." I mean, I couldn't give them the best of jobs, but I still got them something where other colleges actually left their hands. Said, find it on your own. So I think even that should colleges. The Indian system of education needs to change. And I wish I was heading the Department of Fashion for this country. I would change so many things. I would change the way people think, change the way people write. I would change the way people think we should be moving ahead with it. And we are old in our head. I'm sure the people at those
True.
levels are really old and they don't know what it is. But if we have to be at par with the
Global.
world,
Yes.
it it's not just our students that we need to empower. We need to empower all the artists around, all the artisans, basically, and
Yes.
our art, which is very, very, very important. And not just saying that, okay, this is how it's going to be. You
True.
have to get into the nitty-gritty of it. You need to have a separate WGSN for this country. Yeah,
True.
which
True.
connects you to every karigar, which connects you to, okay, if let's say, if today you're in Paris and a
Yes.
student wants to learn hot cricket, I know
Yes.
somebody in Paris that will teach one student at a time, charges 11,000 euros. Yeah,
Okay.
but he teaches from start to end and everything with hand, not video,
Love
everything.
it.
Yeah, why can't Sufyanji at Ajrak take 10 lakh rupees and, and teach?
And
Why can't
teach.
Hiral take 5 lakh rupees and teach somebody art? But
Okay.
we will want to pay Mossy in Paris
Someone.
to
Yes.
teach what he's going to teach. Mossy is a good friend of mine, so I've taken his name. He won't mind it. But why is it that nobody would pay Maheshwar and go there and learn? It's helping the organization also, right? So
True.
the viewers
True.
have. Sufyanji has his own kids. The village
True.
has its own kids, right? So the ecosystem is never built. Nobody's building
True.
the ecosystem that needs to build. हाँ, मतलब बात सब लोग कर रहे हैं कि yeah, we'll do this and we'll do that, and don't buy so many clothes. It's bad for the environment. XYZ, all of it. But we have superb organic stuff that comes out of our villages. Nobody wants to look into
True.
that.
True.
So that needs to be tapped, I think, by the government itself. I don't know if Modi ji is ever listening to this conversation and if he gives light to it. Modi ji, I would love to be out there and help you with this, at least this section of your government education. But yeah, jokes apart, I think one needs to. It's very, very important. We
It's
need to
completely
keep the culture, art, artisans, and build a future for all these students. I mean, you're a developing country. There are a lot of opportunities. Is what we need to find.
yes. True. True. So, inferring from what you said, I think there are a lot of things which are completely true, starting from the behavior coming towards your students. It's basically, it also affects the goodwill of the designers or the companies who impart such a behavior, where eventually the students also
Yeah.
may be an indirect customer, because the word of mouth spreads towards other people as well,
Yes.
which a lot of people are not aware of,
Yeah.
from what you had said. And yeah, I think I totally second that. The culture in India has too, a lot of people are going, out of India to learn, but keeping the culture intact in India is something so important, as you said, that learning from, as you said, Sufyanji, from I'm sorry, I forgot the art, Ajrak. So yeah, I think that's very, very crucial, and it's very important. So and yeah, as you said, from mod art, the way you actually helped your students even after they graduated, and even while they had to become a CEO after many years, I mean, that's really huge, that mod art was a platform where.
I think that support comes from a school who understands how it's supposed to take things ahead, and I'm sure a few schools are also doing it. Not that all the schools are bad. A lot of
True,
schools
true, true.
for help,
Yes.
stuff like that. But like a few things I would like to tell people who are looking for an education in fashion. Um, One thing is, look at the ROI, the return on investment of what you're investing in that college. Let's say if you're investing 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs in a college, in the next 3 years, are you going to make that money? Then it's a good investment. The second thing I feel is fashion is very dangerous. Unless you have the passion for it, don't really go for it, because it needs a lot of passion. I cannot create something, but I have the passion for education, and I have the passion for fashion education. And even with that passion, I've been able to learn more than a lot of people who already. So I know the approach towards it. It's been a hard 14 years, but it's been fun also, creating what I created for these students. Like, it was a learning experience. It's not like I never made mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. while maybe the students in 2008 did not get what I gave students in 2010. The students in
True.
2014 did not get what I gave students in 2017. So it happens because every year you're learning more, you're getting in touch with what needs to get done. But it's not just my college; it's every Morat around the world. Today
True.
Morat is in China, Morat is in Sri Lanka, Belgrade, Budapest, headquarters obviously Paris. They're in Germany, they're in London, they're in South America, Peru Lima. We have made the backend for FIT New York and London College of Fashion for the management program. We were the ones who created it for them. Yeah, not me,
Wow.
the
Yes.
people out of LVMH created that
Yes.
for these people. But even the jobs that came out in all of Europe, the first 20,000 jobs were given to our students. So that's how they have built it. So you see the ROI. They are asking for only 10,000 euros a year, and then they are giving you jobs which can completely give you 10,000 or 12,000 euros a year to start off with, even as an intern. So that's the ROI that they explain to me that no other school really explains. So
Lovely.
when you're looking at education of any sort, yeah, invest in a college that is going to give you an ROI. A return on investment is very, very important, and with that, there is some investment that will come with.
True. True.
So I know for a fact that any competition my kids have gone through, even the first years have uh, beat students of third years of any other colleges, because I know what I was giving. It's very important.
Wow.
You can't sit
Wow.
else and then try to control in different cities. I never understood how so many centers are there for because in India you don't have the problem with infrastructure of place. You have a problem with infrastructure of people. You need the right kind of people to teach. You need the right kind of people to execute what you're going to do.
True.
So yeah, sorry. Can again go on. I don't know if you.
No, I think it's quite interesting listening to, there are a lot of insights from, understanding about this.
I really
So
hope it helps students who really want to take up education in fashion. And if
I'm
the
sure.
students listening, please talk to your brothers, sisters who want to get into it, or pass this on to whoever you want to, because it's very important. Like I saw a reel that day which said that you don't need math, you don't need a few things. That it's a myth. If you join fashion, you need to know how to draw. You need to. It's the information out there is wrong. You need to draw. You need to draw because how will you conceptualize on paper?
True.
How are you going to
Yes.
show them what the flow is going to be, what it's going to be? You need to draw. You need to know pattern making. For pattern making, you need to know math. It is
True.
important to know math. Unless you're getting people from outside who are going to who are going to make patterns for you, again, you're dependent on them. Not to be
True.
dependent, you will need the education.
True. True. That's very true.
So don't go thinking what people are saying. Just get a proper education, get a proper school, and ask questions to your teachers. Ask them. Even if they tell you that you're irritating, just go ask them, because without asking you'll never know an answer. Don't be scared to make mistakes, because if you don't make a mistake, nobody will correct you. So do
Agree.
not complete the project because you are making a mistake. Complete it with a mistake, and they will tell you how to change it. And that's how we did it over here. Everybody was so open towards what they wanted. So yeah,
Wow.
these are a few things. I hope.
Wow. Amazing. Um, I think, does anyone, we are 9 minutes away. Maybe now we can take one or two questions. Or maybe if there are more questions, I'll shift it to another live because this is very insightful. I think there's a lot of knowledge. Does anyone have any questions for Nishant? I think it takes time because, the viewers, they listen a little slow, the network
Will be a little,
reason.
but most of them
Yes, yes,
easier for them to.
true, true. But I think
But
it's,
by the time they say all they ask their questions. Can I ask you a question, please?
yes.
How did you stumble upon
How did I stumble upon?
art? How did you?
Art. Okay. Okay. So ideally, I have been painting for more than 12 years. I am a self-taught artist. I have not learned from any college. I have done my master's in human resources. I had worked in TCS for a while.
Wow.
And in the interim, when I shifted to Mumbai 3 years ago, while searching for a job, I started painting. And oh my God, there are so many questions coming. I think Nishant, I'll shift this to the second live as well, if it's okay. So, when in the interim, when I shifted to Mumbai, I painted my first diary,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it sold. And after that, I got a next commission project itself for World Art Center, Dubai.
yeah.
And there was nothing which made me go back, because in the same year or the next year, one of my painting went to Raj Bhavan, Karnataka,
Oh, love.
amongst the 6th and 7th century art pieces. It was a Shinathji painting. So I think it's a journey, and you
It is.
know
It is. I think it's a learning every day. And as an artist, another thing I would want to say is you have to keep upgrading yourself.
true, yes, you have to keep on learning new
Yeah.
skills.
The day you
Yeah.
say know it all, it's gonna just
Yes,
go
I
down.
think you go
Graph-
down. I
Graph's gonna go
agree.
down. So you have to keep learning. You have to keep knowing more and more.
Yes, yes.
People still have a fixed idea about jewelry, but I'm very passionate about fabric jewelry. Una, it's a very good concept. I think you should look into it, but um, it is going to take some time. It did. I built up mod art. The first 4 years, I was only educating people. So if you have the time and passion for it, stick to it. Scope will build with time. You do a good job, scope will come on its own. Again, that's the same thing I'm going to repeat is excellence. You work towards excellence, and everything else will keep running after you.
True. There are so many questions. I'll go from the start. Someone, NPM 1411 has asked, tell us about your passion for fitness yoga. I think she must be your follower for sure. Uh,
So I was building La Maison Du Yoga, so that's why I kind of had to learn. And if anybody wants to learn yoga, they have to get in touch with the Yoga Institute in Santa Cruz East. They are brilliant. Hansaji is amazing. I think yoga really helped in a lot of ways. It helps with internally making you better every way, even and it basically comes directly from years. People have been doing it for years, and it's in our systems to do yoga. So uh, yeah, with fitness and yoga is better than any other exercise. I would say
I agree.
it gets you towards being still, which is very very important. And
Yes, yes.
that it's very easy to do 100 Surya Namaskars in 1 hour, but it is very hard to do one Surya Namaskar in an hour because that needs stillness of mind. And when you get to that stillness of mind, you will be a changed person because it's not like how we do weight training. Like you pick up weights and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't work like that. It's it's picking up that weight and taking 5 minutes to get to that one rep, and that's what tells you how to be still about. So again, we don't use fans, we don't use ACs, nothing while we do yoga because you're balancing in such a way that even if the wind which passes through can make you lose your balance. So yoga is supposed to be done without fan, AC, all of it. Um, just
Interesting.
the environment is very very good. Otherwise, yeah. I mean, yoga is a subject of mine that I've learned it really well. And the Yoga Institute, it's a lot of philosophy that you'll understand with time. It helped me with my stomach issues, with my anxiety. Um, yeah, it's. I hope it makes me a better person. That's it. Yep. So yoga.
And yes,
Sorry.
sorry.
So
I
that,
mean, I wanted to just add something to it.
go on, go on, go on.
No, I think I had started yoga as well 3 years ago, and it also helps a lot with the mind, the gut, or a lot of things help. The mind body coordination, it really helps that way.
So, yoga is a lot to do with first kriya. So you wake up in the morning. There's a lot of jal neti, and then there are a few
Yes.
kriyas that you have to do, kapalpati and all that.
Yes.
Now these kriyas help you, take out all the bad things from your. Keep doing it.
System.
Yeah, if you keep doing it every day. Like even for gut, they say that in the morning, just have 1 spoon of desi ghee. I'm talking about proper desi ghee in
Yes.
water. You drink it in half an hour, your systems will be cleared. So I had an issue with hyperacidity. I had an issue with gas because of anxiety. So my anxiousness built it, right. I had a
Yes.
issue with bulging, so I used to puke out a little bit after every meal.
So yes.
Yeah, so yoga really helped. Like yoga,
Amazing.
I once I started that 1 spoon of ghee and water, that's it. I was having 8 medicines for it, and I've come down to a glass of water. So that's
Wow.
how it changes. Another thing is what I figured that after starting yoga, I don't need an AC to sleep in. I can
Oh wow.
a fan. Even in summers, we sleep in fan. So we don't use AC at all. So yeah, I mean, and that was a fan on slow. So we don't. It calms you down in a lot of ways. So let's say if you're hyper for something, you will start sweating. But at the same time, if you're calm, you won't sweat so much even a situation comes down. So when I
I
say
would love.
200 Surya Namaskars, you're not calm. You have to finish
True.
100. But one
True.
Surya Namaskar for 1 hour, you have to be very calm. It
True.
has to be a lot of calmness plus patience. A lot of patience.
True.
Do just one Surya Namaskar for 1 hour because every asana that you'll be doing will be six bells each. So yeah,
Amazing. Someone asked that how did fashion happen to you? I think you had already said that in the beginning on how
yeah.
you started.
The first question of yours is that's how fashion happened, but
Yeah.
I don't understand what they mean. Happened. So
Yeah.
education
I believe Sibo
or
asked that.
just fashion itself. So I was a buyer. I used to buy a lot of fashion stuff, right? Like I used to know what I was buying, but a lot of people don't know the history of what the brand is before they buy. I feel very bad when people wear Zara clothes and carry a Birkin in their hand. It's not doing justice to Birkin, for sure,
True.
and or an LV bag for that matter. So you kind of match it with what you are. Even like today, I know it's of convenience too because a lot of brands are not in the country. So I understand that there are some things that people could buy and some can't buy. So it's easier to do it. But like if I have to stick to one brand in menswear, I would be like Prada is my go-to for shirts and stuff like that. If I have to stick to athletic wear, it would be Nike any day, from top to bottom Nike. If I have to just wear a t-shirt, a normal t-shirt, I would go to North Face. It's the best and the most comfortable count that maybe it has. And with again shoes, I even wear stuff from normal markets also. Like I have this brand that I wear in Thailand. I forgot the name, but they have different strap colors and different sole colors, and you can mix and match, and it's fun
Love it.
to. It's like an Indian, it's like a Thai version of mochi. So they have already ready made, but they make it over there. So you choose a strap for. I love chappals. I love sports shoes. Even if I'm doing a consultancy somewhere, it's on my contract saying at leisure wear is very, is very important because this country has so much heat. Like I can't do. Yeah, thanks, Prerna. Yeah, it's called Mochu. It's a
Okay.
brand from Thailand. It's called Mochu, and when you see this brand, it's so beautiful because there are so many colors in front of you, and then they have these soul colors in front of you. And every time I would go, and I have a fetish for footwear, which kind of came down. Like expressed myself there because I used to have pairs of shoes. And in Mumbai and with the real estate, it's not so nice to have 600 pairs of shoes because you need to stock it up
True.
and
True.
everything also. So I moved from that to glasses. Now I'm very happy.
Okay.
I collect a lot of glasses. I've collected a lot of retro glasses. Like I have
Interesting.
a 1972 Dior.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah,
1972.
yeah, 1972. It's wired from the side, so basically you can push it down, and from the Dior's on the side, the wire comes out, and then you bring it on. So yeah, so that's one of my passions actually.
Interesting.
Glasses is one of my passions. So I have a lot of limited versions of them. And for normal everyday glasses, I think Tom Ford is the best. I've not had anything as comfortable as them, and I love bigger glasses also. So it's been really good. My second favorite would be Gucci for
Okay.
glasses, because they made those retro gold ones,
Yes.
going. So it so happened that Ranveer Kapoor and me had the same glasses from Gucci. Yeah, if you know what I mean, the gold ones, the
Yes.
gold. So yeah, glasses is something I'm interested in, and as for fashion, every day, um, one T-shirt and sweatpants from Nike is what I wear. That's my thing, or ramen shorts. So there's this smaller brand of H&M. It's called Shedderwood. They make really comfortable shorts. The
Amazing.
cotton, very very comfortable shorts, and even Primark for that matter. Primark makes damn good stuff. Um, Anybody wants to know my size? It's 2XL. If you want to gift me anything from North Face, Nike would be an option. Nike London. I'm like a child. Like how a child is in Hamleys. Like if you put him in a
Yes.
Hamleys store and the child goes crazy, you take me to Nike Town and you'll not see me. I have spent 6 hours once in the Nike store while my wife was getting very very irritated. So I understand.
I'm going to say something. I hope my husband does not kill me, but I hope my husband is listening to this and he does something with this style. Yeah. So I think that's quite inspiring and interesting. It actually inspires me to start collecting, you know, different, fashions. So I think, does anyone have any questions for Nishant? I'm sure a lot of people from the previous live have joined here.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think they have any questions.
No, I think the voice, it goes a little slower for the audience to listen to it. So,
Just my third live, so I don't know how it works.
okay.
Overall, I'm a very shy person, but till the time I get there, and once I'm there in the room, then I kind of open up. So it takes time for me. But yeah, I mean, you were talking about my favorite subject, mod art and fashion education. So I can keep talking about it. You'll have to get me on the next slide. So
Okay.
yeah, uh,
So,
thank you so much for inviting.
amazing. Uh, so, as Placebo Effect says, it's been a superb exchange of thoughts. Thank you so much for sharing the information and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
Okay. NPM1411 says, let him talk. He is very interesting, great ideas. Anu, I think Una, her name is Anu.
Guna. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
She says, great vibes. Um, Rajshi Walia, she's given the emoji.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing, Nishant. I think it's been an honor having you at my platform, God of Onions.
It's been an honor to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for talking to me about my favorite subjects.
And I think this platform itself is something where, your subject comes to.
Both my sisters just joined. Hi, Vaibhavi. Hi, Kashish.
Hi, Vaibhavi. Hi, Kashish. I think I know Vaibhavi. Yes. So I think it has been very insightful, very informative, and I'm sure that I could get a lot of knowledge and insights from what you have said, and so did the audience. So yeah, so thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoy our lives and podcast. So thank you guys for being a part of this live. Thank you, Nishan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hiral. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.